evening, everybody. Welcome into this week's edition of the Milford Informer. I am your host, Tim Coed. With the short holiday week this week, we have an abbreviated version of the Informer to present to you. We've got news from our friends over at the Crossroads Clubhouse, as well as some exciting softball and baseball highlights from the past week. Let's show you more as we get right to our top stories rundown. Tonight, take a look inside Milford Regional Medical Center as state legislators gave recognition to both the hospital and the Crossroads Clubhouse for their collaborative efforts getting developmentally disabled adults successfully integrated into the workforce. And in sports, we have a pair of exciting highlight reels. First, it's Division I powerhouse Milford taking on the class of Division II Grafton in a premier softball matchup. And then we'll show you if the Scarlet Hawks baseball team was able to keep their winning streak going as they took on a division rival in the Foxboro Warriors on Thursday. The Crossroads Clubhouse continues to work diligently to help place adults with disabilities into successful career paths. This week, Crossroads was recognized by the state legislature for successful partnerships with a pair of businesses in Milford. Here is a recap of a ceremony held this week over at Milford Regional Medical Center.
I've been with our company, Riverside Community Care, with Crossroads Clubhouse for almost 10 years now. It'll be 10 years in October. And when I first came in, I wanted to work with Milford Hospital. We were able to get a person or two in, but what happened was they had a hiring freeze, and I unfortunately lost those opportunities. Further down the road, I was stubborn and kept calling, and Angel was now in the position of the supervisor that I could connect with, and was able to talk with Angel about bringing in other folks. Like we had brought in another person years ago that was still employed, and we were finally able to sit down and meet.
I've been in the legislature for almost 7 years now, and shortly after getting elected and sworn in January of 2011, I was approached by the program manager at the clubhouse, who also is a close personal friend, and she said, "You need to come out to the clubhouse, check us out, learn what we do. I think you'll be impressed."
So I just want to say thank you to Arlene and other clubhouse members who have worked together with us in Milford to make this program work. I take it really to heart working with Crossroads. I like the fact that I can give another person opportunity to come back and integrate themselves into what is the work life. The hospital is a beautiful environment, and I think to get people into it and create a good atmosphere, we need to give opportunities. So again, I just wanted to say thank you to Crossroads. Again, it's not only me, it's some partners inside the environmental services, human resources, and my boss. So. Oh, thank you.
Something that I've been very impressed with the clubhouse over the years is how much they do with how little. Their percentage of the state budget is a rounding error to most people. It is, it's a very small portion of the state budget. Yet you hear success stories of people able to kind of rehabilitate themselves, re-enter the workforce after years, sometimes decades of not being in the workforce. And it underscores just how important that mission is.
With Crossroads, to be honest with you, before I came here, I had no idea what Crossroads was. I had no affiliation with Crossroads. I just got a job here. But as I got the job here, I was privileged enough to be able to start working with some of the Crossroads people. At that time, I didn't even know they were Crossroads people. They were just co-workers, in reality. But as I learned to understand why I was with them, something in me was birth, right? And it was a desire to see these people succeed. And so as I started to learn who they were and why they were working with me, I found it a privilege to be able to share with them my day and my time trying to teach them and guide them to try to have a more successful life. And as I see them improve, as I see them begin to start working on their own, as I begin to see them to develop, I am the biggest rewarder of all of this. That they hopefully can be successful in their life, but I'm already receiving my success and my rewards from just being able to see them be better, more mature, some of them I would call it more confident in themselves. I've seen, I'm not saying all levels, but I've seen different levels. I've worked with different levels of them, and like I said, to me, it's been my privilege, my honor, and I thank God for people like Crossroads that give people like this an opportunity. And then not only do they just keep it, they actually allow other people to share in their vision to make people's lives better.
I'm actually going to share a story about my daughter that I had shared when we were over at the home goods store doing a very similar presentation this morning. So February 8th, 2016 was a really exciting day for my wife and I because we would find out whether or not we were having a boy or a girl. I, of course, wanted a boy. My wife wanted a girl. We had a consensus in the fact that we just wanted a healthy, happy baby. And we would learn that we obviously were having a girl. And the doctor came in after letting us know this to inform us that the baby actually had a cyst on her brain. And as you can see, while that worked out perfectly fine, for a lot of families it doesn't. And so for some, it can mean Down syndrome. For others, it can mean some sort of mental impairment. It can lead to Edwards syndrome, which is essentially a death sentence. We were graced by God and very fortunate. But for those who aren't, who are sort of in the mild part of that spectrum, Clubhouse is a program that is absolutely beyond reproach and fantastic because it helps families like we may have needed help for our daughter, which we thankfully didn't, and that there was a program available not only to help assist that person become a productive member of society, but to give them dignity in what they do. So having Milford Hospital be a part of this program, the medical center, playing a role, having people participate here is just a wonderful thing.
We now have another person that came in, and he's now working full-time. We have a third person now who is working weekends and part-time, and we're in the process of bringing another person in as well. So our relationship is over 10 years old now, so it's an old-new relationship, and it's one that I think is going to be very lasting, and it's going to be very effective for what we do, and it's given us great opportunities to see success for folks that we would not have had those opportunities if it wasn't for making this relationship. So we are, as a clubhouse, super thankful, and I hope to see another 10 years come out of this.
Last Friday afternoon, the Lady Hawks softball team took to their home field in a game that quickly took on a playoff-like feel. In the imposing dugout was a team that has enjoyed a very similar level of success as Milford over the last decade in the Grafton Lady Indians. Let's show you how things went down between these two non-conference rivals. Fans of Milford softball continue to have vivid memories of the team's back-to-back state titles in 2012 and 2013. As it turns out, fans of the Grafton softball team enjoy similar memories, as the Lady Indians also went back-to-back with state championship wins for Division II in those same years. Two teams with such successful playoff pedigrees meant fans could expect a high-quality matchup when the two came together on the Milford softball field last Friday. The pitching matchup featured Milford senior ace Allie Atherton against junior star Savannah Small, who was fresh off a no-hitter against Tantascwa in her previous start. Both pitchers enjoyed a swift first inning of work. In the bottom of the second, it appeared to be more of the same from Small, as she got Kelly Reichert to ground out to first before striking out Maddie Bonvino. Small looked to make it a 1-2-3 first inning, but sophomore Emily Hartman had other ideas. Fans sprinkled around the outfield as well, as we have a perfect spring day for softball. A 1-2 pitch. This is hit in the air. Out to left center field. A long run back towards the fence. And that's over the fence for a solo home run. Off the crack of the bat, it didn't look like that ball was going to have quite enough to clear the fence, but it just kept traveling. And it sneaks over the fence in left center field for a solo shot that gives Milford the first run of the game. It is 1-0 Lady Hawks. Milford would enjoy more two-out success in the third inning. Emily Pierre-Gustavo would work her second walk of the game to get the rally started. Jess Tomaso would follow up with a single to put two aboard for one of Milford's senior captains, Caitlin DeCapua. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count DeCapua looking for some more two-out magic for this Lady Hawks team. Here's the pitch. This is a line drive out into right field for a hit. That's going to make it to the fence. Around to score comes Pierre Gustavo. They will wave Jess Tomaso to the plate. There will not be a throw home. It is a two-out, two-run double for the captain, Caitlin DeCapua, and that extends the Milford lead to 3-0.
Meanwhile, Allie Atherton cruised along through much of this game in the circle. She'd strike out a pair of hitters in the second. Atherton would allow just 2 base runners and would face just 1 over the minimum through her first 5 innings of work. In the bottom of the 5th, Atherton would see her offense continue to pad the lead. DeCapua would claim her 3rd run batted in of the game on a groundout. Then it was Kelly Reichert contributing with an RBI single to give the Lady Hawks a comfortable 5-run lead. But the Lady Indians, who have claimed the 1 seed in Division II Central in 4 out of the last 5 seasons, would not go quietly in this one. They would finally get to Atherton in the top of the 6th. With runners at the corners, Haley Johnson would break for second. Hartman would notch her 2nd caught stealing of the game, but in the process, Bella Thornton would score Grafton's first run. With 2 outs and the bases clear, Atherton would try to end the frame with no more damage done.
Well, it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count to Sarah Bemillard, who sends this pitch high in the air out to left field deep. Tomaso back towards the fence. And that is just inside the foul pole down the left field line for a 2-out solo home run. Bemillard sends it over the fence, and she will touch home plate to make this a 5-2 game.
Atherton would get out of the inning from there, and after Milford's bats went 1-2-3 for the first time in the day, Allie would return to the circle for the 7th. Facing batters 4, 5, and 6, Atherton would induce weak contact from all 3 hitters, resulting in a quick 1-2-3 frame to end the game. On a day where Milford was without the services of their clutch-hitting captain Maggie Farrell, the Lady Hawks earned a solid victory, defeating Grafton by a final score of 5-2. The Lady Hawks pushed their winning streak up to 6 games by virtue of a 9-4 win over Hopkinton on Wednesday and a big 16-4 victory over Foxboro this past Thursday. The girls continue to operate on the road for their next 2 games. They'll travel to Hopedale for a non-conference matchup on Saturday morning before heading to North Attleboro for their first ever divisional matchup with the Lady Rocketeers. Our next coverage of the girls will come on Wednesday, April 26th, when the team finally returns to their home field for a Davenport showdown against Sharon. On to the baseball team now, where the boys find themselves playing their best baseball since 2015. After their win against Franklin, which we recapped for you last week, the boys cruised to a 12-2 win over Hopedale on Friday morning. The team then enjoyed a 5-day break in game action before they prepared for a tilt against Foxboro at Pheno Field Thursday. Once again, we were on hand for coverage, so let's take you inside Pheno for the highlights. The Scarlet Hawks looked to establish the longest winning streak the team has enjoyed since early in the 2015 season, as they took to their home field during the school vacation week in a matchup against the Foxboro Warriors. Milford failed to earn a win in 2 tries against Foxboro last season, but they would have their ace Alex Masick on the mound, hoping to turn their luck around against this division rival. Alex had no trouble collecting the first 2 outs of the first inning, but after number 3 hitter Colin Thainer collected a 2-out base hit, Masick would walk the next batter and then intentionally walk right fielder Cam Feldman to load the bases. Masick was eventually able to dance out of the jam, getting Chad Fierce on a called strike 3 to end the inning. After Milford's bats went 1-2-3 in the first, Masick would end up in another tricky situation in the second. With 1 out, Foxboro would string together 3 straight hits, 2 of them of the infield variety, to once again load the bases, this time with only 1 out.
Malika at third, Terrio at second, Bubenchik at first. As this ball's hit hard on the ground, a diving play made by Wild. He taps on the third base back, fires across the diamond to get the out at first base. Aiden Wild starts a 5-3 double play to end the inning with no runs allowed. What a tremendous play out of the third baseman, Aiden Wild.
It would stay a scoreless game into the 3rd inning. The lefty starter for Foxboro, Steve McLaughlin, would retire 8 of the first 9 batters he faced, but a key miscue in the outfield would pave the way for a Scarlet Hawks rally.
That's the 2nd strikeout for Steve McLaughlin. It's
So after allowing that leadoff base hit, he's now retired the next two batters, and Gonsalves now sends the ball out to shallow right field. That's going to get down for a hit. Masick heading towards third base. Here comes the throw. It gets away from the third baseman, and it goes off of the playing surface, and Masick will be awarded home plate. And they will also award Gonsalves third base on the play, as Milford is able to take a 1-0 lead. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and it's sent right back up the middle. A rangy attempt for Terrio. His throw to first base is not in time. Arcudi beats it out, and in to score from third base comes Gonsalves to make it a 2-0 Milford lead. Was in no position to make a throw to first base in time to get the speedy Arcudi. As now first pitch swinging, Wild drives this ball deep out to left center field. That's over everyone's head, rolling towards the fence. Arcudi will score no problem as Aiden Wild flies around the bases. He will slide safely into third base with an RBI triple.
All of the runs scored in the third were unearned as Milford maximized the damage, taking a 3-0 lead. McLaughlin would settle down on the mound, shutting down the Milford bats over the final 3 innings, striking out a total of 6 batters. Foxboro, meanwhile, would have base runners in every single inning against Masick. Alex would get a key strikeout of Cam Feldman to strand a runner at third in the 5th inning. The Warriors would then load the bases for a third time in the top of the 6th, but a 4-6-3 double play turned in the frame would limit Foxboro to just a single run scored. With Milford leading 3-1 in the 7th, Zach Tamani would commit a pair of errors at short, allowing 1 run to score while placing the tying and go-ahead runs at first and second. Eventually, Masick would induce a weak ground ball back to the mound off the bat of Mike Saliba, and finally Milford would secure the final out of the ball game. Despite some late-inning drama, the Hawks would indeed earn their 4th consecutive victory, defeating Foxboro by a final score of 3-2. Coming up next Friday, join the Milford Performing Arts Center for their 8th, almost annual auction titled Under the Sea. The evening will include a gourmet meal featuring meat and vegetarian choices, a live and silent auction, raffles, games, entertainment, and more. There are exciting auction and raffle prizes, including a Mexican vacation, sports tickets, and wine baskets. The MPAC auction will take place on Friday, April 28th at the Crystal Room, beginning at 6:30 p.m. Tickets to the event are $30 for adults, $50 per couple, and $190 for a full table of 8. All proceeds will help defray costs for MPAC's spring musical and to help with scholarship programs. For more information, log on to MPAC's website, milfordpac.com. And here's a heads up that on Saturday, May 20th, the community will come together for the 2nd annual Celebrate Milford event. Building off of last year's incredibly successful inaugural run, this year's Celebrate Milford will once again feature entertainment and events throughout the day and will also include a youth organization parade, a kids' play zone, a beer garden, and plenty of food. Celebrate Milford will take place on Saturday, May 20th, all around Milford Town Park from 10 a.m. all the way until 9 p.m. To find out more details or to find out sponsorship opportunities, you can head to the website celebratemilford.com. That is all we have for you this week. Once again, we want to remind all of our viewers, whether you check us out on Milford TV or through live stream or YouTube, we would like to hear from you. If you have a potential news story you'd like to see us report on, or you'd like us to help you promote an upcoming event, you can contact us via our studio phone, or you can contact me directly using either of the email addresses you see on your screen right now. Once again, we thank you for tuning in. From all of us here at Milford TV, this is Tim Coette saying have a great week. So long, everybody.